Back here, this is actually the Virunga Mountains, and these are the mountains where the mountain gorillas live. In your lifetime, again, the mountain gorillas probably will become extinct. So I had three gorilla permits, two for Rwanda and one for Uganda. Gorilla permits are $500 a piece. What you do is you go to the park. 8 people are allowed to be with one gorilla family for an hour. And what they do is they have trackers go out in the morning. Gorillas never stay in the same place every night. So the trackers will find them. They have radios. They'll radio the guide. Sometimes you walk for an hour, sometimes you walk for 6 hours until you find them. And once you find them, you have 1 hour to take pictures. There are not only guides there and the trackers, but there are also soldiers. Not so much to protect you from the gorilla animals, but more to protect you from the gorilla soldiers who, after the genocide in Rwanda, killed 15 tourists that were there to see the gorillas. So now you go out with armed guards. So the first thing I did, which did not require a permit, was to hike to Diane Fossey's camp. Diane Fossey's camp was in the mountains, and she is the woman that they based the movie Gorillas in the Mist on. On the right, you can see a picture of Diane and her favorite gorilla named Digit. Basically, poachers killed Digit, and Diane, because she had red hair, made them think she was a witch, and they macheted her to death. So on the bottom, you can see his grave, and she was buried next to him. Here are pictures of gorillas that I took, and again, these are mountain gorillas, and the big silverback is in the middle. Here you can see, and I'm not sure why these came out blurry, I think because they were smaller, but you can see a silverback gorilla being groomed by a female. And then on the bottom, you can see a mother with a baby. Again, I took all of these pictures. Here's a picture of me, not the best, with a silverback gorilla right behind me. But it was safe. And then this was the second day. It was pouring rain, and here you can see the male gorilla. The gorillas don't like the rain, and he was not in a good mood. We had to hike for about 3 hours through the jungle. It's usually bamboo forests, which is their habitat because they eat bamboo. And so here you can see, like I said, they were not happy campers. I also went to Nagamba Chimp Sanctuary in Uganda, and that was on an island in Lake Victoria. And all of the chimps there had been captive, they had been abused. But you have to watch out with chimps because they will kill people if they have the chance. And if you know anything about that situation that happened in Connecticut. So it's a 100-acre island. 5 acres is what you see for visitors. And then the other 95 acres are actually fenced in with pretty heavy wire, barbed wire. And they used to have drills that if a chimp got out, they would tell everybody to go to the water because these chimps had been in captivity and they knew that they were stronger than most people. Your life would be in danger, so everybody would go to the water. Here's some pictures of the chimps. I actually got to go on what was called a conservation walk, and I got to walk with 5 chimps, spend 2 hours with them. They were young chimps, and none of the other chimps were out yet in the morning, and so I had one riding on my back, I had one holding my hand, but they will not let you take pictures of that because they believe it makes people think that they're really tame when they're not. And then I went whitewater rafting on the Nile, and the boat flipped 5 times. I'm actually in the pictures of the boat. I will put a video on YouTube for you to watch. It is the fastest whitewater in the world. That and the Zambezi, which I was also on in Zimbabwe. And I literally almost drowned on the last set of rapids. What happens is that, when the boat flips, the water is so turbulent that you're like in a washing machine and you don't know which way up is, and they tell you count to 10 and your life preserver will pull you to the surface. Well, the problem was, as soon as I came to the surface to get air, the water was so turbulent it just pulled me right back under, and I was getting mouthfuls of water rather than air, and almost drowned. It just so happened that a Navy SEAL was in my boat, and he was also in the water, but he saw I was drowning and he pulled me out and came to my rescue.